On one ordinary day, you play the role of a hero who discovers a gold amulet that grants him magical powers. Yet the maker of this very same amulet is threatened by the whereabouts of a silver counterpart, and you set out to find it before time runs out. This is Beyond Oasis. Also known as the story of Thor, this game was released for the Sega Genesis in the tail end of its lifespan. Yet the graphics look timeless and the soundtrack is pretty great for the most part, fitting in every scene like a charm. The minimalist UI and the macros dedicated to the map, items, and weapons are made use of to a great lasting extent. But the problems don't include these factors. Far from it actually, and I'll start covering each and every one of them here. So firstly, the tutorial is set after the first encounter, but the sticking thought in my mind is, why? Either I would have likely figured out the controls by then, or it could have taken the form of this description right here. But no, you still have to defeat the boss and then find the tutorial in the castle later. And that, my friends, is counterintuitive, the opposite of what a tutorial should be. Secondly, the magic in this game goes like this. You get a form after completing a shrine, and then they give a tutorial right off the bat. However, you don't exactly get another reference for this unless you took a screenshot of the commands a moment ago. Then, if at any point you lose the form, you later have to find its elemental resonance and hit the magic button targeting that, and these forms consume mana, also known as SP. So if you ever run out of mana, then you need to wait for the bar to recharge, and then you have to find the form again. However, I'm not gonna blame the developers for implementing this creative yet really frustrating way to handle magic in a game. Next of all, there is no item shop in this game. Instead, your only choice is to find weapons, which are somehow breakable, as well as recovery items in the wild. And as usual, you can find these items on either chests or when defeating enemies. Speaking of which, the enemies get over your head, especially when they keep on respawning a lot of the time. And no, these enemies don't give you XP. Instead, you receive an extremely copious amount of RNG, hoping that an enemy drops an item somewhere. And if you suddenly receive a heart drop, well, that's your level up. Eventually, you will reach a point where the game tries to justify the shade ability, which lets you reach farther places. However, a single adjustment to jump height will really nullify the shade's ability in most nearby gaps. However, this doesn't fix a wider issue when it comes to agility. See, you can only run in one direction, and any sort of rotation is pace breaking. Coupled with the jump height, as well as several hidden enemies just showing up only to make you fall, results in a frustrating subsection that can't even be solved with emulation today. And here's another one. Just look at this fire trap while I am basically being held back by the power of the wind. Usually, it would only be the HP that gets affected, but because this game has a tendency to respawn your enemies, they somehow show up after you make one wrong move in this fire trap. And lastly, if you lose all your HP in any scenario, you get a game over screen followed by your HP being fully recovered, as well as being repositioned to the last map transition you went to. And that must have been the most redeeming factor about this game. Usually, they'd ask you to go back to your recent save point, or you'd have to start from scratch all over again. However, in an era of save states and rewind, I feel like this feature is overlooked. Overall, the gameplay felt subpar for me, and I feel like it's no fault of the developers here. Rather, this feels like a result of several technical limitations of systems at the time, whether it was the lack of buttons on a specific controller, or the inability to implement certain features that could have helped the game in the long run. Nevertheless, it was still considered as a beloved classic, hence the reason I bought this as well as several other RPGs during the FOMO period last year. Now to end my review, I will not be giving a final score for this game. Rather, I would like to ask you if you could check out the game for yourself and form your own opinion. Overall, I found some good things while playing this game. Firstly, the intro was amazing. Second, the graphics and sound are great. And third, you might find the game to be more enjoyable than I did. And that, my friends, is the power of constructive criticism. You can enjoy one thing and dislike the other, but the other person beside you will like that other thing instead. And that ends my review. If you found this helpful, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more reviews like this. Thank you for watching.